Hey guys, it's your favorite winemaker Tiana here to uncork another episode of the Winemaker series. Today we're diving into our white wines. So let's explore the magic of behind the wines you love to sip. So for our white wines that we'll be exploring today are Sauvy, Silky Essence, Pinot, Gertie, and Golden Nectar. These are our 5 white wines that I make in our establishment here at Water's Edge Winery and Bistro of E-Town, located at 114 South Mulberry Street in a wonderful downtown area of Elizabethtown. But before we get into tasting our 5 wines that we have here today, let's get to know more about the grapes. So there's 2 grapes. We have Concord grapes and Vitis vinifera grapes. So Concord grapes are more like your table grapes that you get at the grocery stores, and it's also the known grapes that you see in like the grape jelly, jams, your pies, your grape juices, and also used for wine as well. The Vitis vinifera is the common grapevine that is known more commonly in the Mediterranean region, Central Europe, Southern Germany, Southeastern Asia, and more. So the wines that we make here at Water's Edge Winery and Bistro of E-Town are from Vitis vinifera, and they come from many different varietal of grapes. And here we have the Sauvy, which is from Sauvignon Blanc, Silky Essence, which is a Chardonnay, Pinot, which is a Pinot Grigio, Gertie, which is a Gewürztraminer, and Golden Nectar, which is the known Muscat Blanc, which everyone loves, Moscato. And today I will be going through each of these wines for you today. Some of you guys have probably already come in and tried them, either for a single glass during a happy hour, Tuesday through Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m., or for one of our tastings solo or with a friend. So the first wine that we'll be trying first is our Sauvy. She is a Sauvignon Blanc from Chile. And most Sauvignon Blancs are a dry, medium, light-bodied wines with herbal flavors and can range from lean to bountiful. And our Sauvignon Blanc has herbaceous, pineapple, and peach flavors. So let's try and taste that out. And also while we're tasting, I'll show you guys the 4 S's, which is you see it, you swirl it, you smell it, and then you get that wonderful sip. Let's get started. Ooh. Swirling, you're also aerating the wine. So you're opening up the wine, getting those aromas of the natural flavors within the wine. Any herbal, pineapple, and peach flavors. Right now, as I'm swirling it, I can smell it right now. It smells wonderful, guys. Oh my gosh. Even though I tried this wine multiple times, it's just like the first time every time. All right, now remember the 4 S's, guys. Sight. So admire the color of the wine, her beautiful amber goldenness color. The next is the swirl. Like I said, it's all in the wrist. If you can't do it within your wrist, just do it on a flat surface between the fingers and just go in a slowly in a circular motion. Either direction, it doesn't matter as long as you get that swirl. And when you're swirling or after swirling, that's when you smell it. That's when you get the aromas, the notes of the wine. And one of the things to note as well is you can smell it before you swirl it to get like a sense of the wine or what you will be tasting, or after you swirl it, mid-swirl to while it's opening up to get more of what the wine will taste in its characteristics. Also, I have some crackers here and a glass of water to help cleanse my palates within between each of these wines. All right, so now that we admired the sight of the wine. We did our swirl, and then we did our smell. Now we're on to the best part, which is the sip. And it is like a nice medium bodied wine. It is on the dry side, but it's not too dry to where it's not consumable. It is very refreshing. You do get the herbalness of it. Oh, and also another way to sip the wine. Sorry, it's very juicy as well. But another way to sip the wine is when you take a sip of it, you kind of like hold it and balance it on your tongue in a way, kind of like when you're gargling, but not with the, the whole gar or anything, but just kind of like balance it on your tongue to get like the weight of it. You do that with any of your wines, but mainly with the dry wines, especially with the red wines, to get the weight of it to see if it's like a light, medium, or full body wine. And this is a medium light body wine, but it's still soft and refreshing that is drinkable anytime throughout the year. Okay, let's move on. It is good. So moving along this fun train, we have our Silky Essence, which is our Chardonnay from Australia. And with this wine, it has notes of ripe pineapple, mango, and vanilla with this creamy texture. So let's get started with this one. As you can see with Silky Essence, it doesn't have that deep golden color like the Savi had, but it still has that beautiful golden color, which makes you wonder how it got its silky name. And remember the four S's, guys: the sight, the swirl, the smell, and then the sip. All right, now with Silky Essence, the Chardonnay from Australia, it has notes of ripe pineapple, mango, and a creamy texture of vanilla. And as you see, when we poured it, it doesn't have that golden color like the Savi had, but it still has that nice yellow golden light undertone color. And you can see probably a little bit more of it as you swirl. Probably should have did that with the Savi as well, but that's okay. That is okay. And as you swirl it, you can smell that vanilla and that sweetness of pineapple or mango or a mixture of both. Mm. Now with Chardonnays, they do run medium body, which ours does as well. And it has a versatile range of flavors depending on if it's unoaked to oaked. The unoaked has crisp fragrance, green apple, pear, and citrus flavors, while the oak has peach, mango, and vanilla and butter notes that gives it that creamy textureness. So now that we've done the four S's of the sight, swirl, smell, now let's get to the best part. As always, the sip. Even though it's a Chardonnay and it's a medium bodied wine, it really is like light on the tongue, but still get that little heaviness of it, but still with that creaminess of the oakness and that taste of vanilla. And then with the pineapple and mango flavors, it just, mm, mm. Now, at first, when getting started with the winemaking process, I've never had Chardonnay at all. As with anyone starting off with wine, you usually start with the sweet wines, and mainly the Moscato, as we all love and behold in this good old faithful. So the Chardonnay was one of the wines, especially white wines, that I never tried until learning to make wine myself. And Chardonnay has become one of the most popular favorite grape varietals that I love to drink in the white wine categories. As in, we carry multiple popular grape varietals, as in the Sauvignon Blanc, the Chardonnay, a Pinot Noir, and so forth. So yeah, the Silky Essence, guys. So if you love the Sauvignon Blanc or the Chardonnay, we do carry it, and come and try it for yourself. Might be your new favorite and also hangout spot. Next we have is our Pinot, which is our Pinot Grigio from Italy. And for this wine, for being from Italy, it has a nice crisp and spice notes on the nose, and it has a fresh citrus and hint of almond taste as well. So let's get started and try this one. Okay. It's almost like between the salty and or silky essence with the color. Like definitely in between. Like if they got together, this would be like the color. So we have our Pinot Grigio from Italy with its crisp spice notes and its fresh citrus and a hint of almond as well. It is dry, medium light bodied white wine, but a fun fact for this is it is a mutation of the Pinot Noir, which is a red grape. So it has pinkish coloring to it instead of the green or white golden coloring on normal white wine grapes. And as you can see, it is not like any red coloring. As I just explained, it's a yellow golden color, as you can see. As I was explaining during the pouring of it, it's like a nice little perfect mix between the Sauvy and the Chardonnay, which is our silky essence, the Chardonnay. So as we swirling it, definitely can taste the freshness and the citrusness of it. Depending on the ripeness during the growing of the grapes and also during the harvesting of it, and depending on the winemaking process, will determine if the Pinot Grigio is like a light zesty to a full-bodied wine. And also while swirling it, it almost tastes like that apple or pear, just like a nice fruity wine you just smell. And like everyone will smell and also taste something differently on their palate. Just like you can eat and taste something differently from a piece of chocolate to a piece of candy. Everyone's going to get some type of different characteristics on their tongue, which is also known as their palate, if you didn't know. So now we're getting to the best part, the sipping. It really is a light, dry, medium-bodied wine. It's very light. And normally with the Pinot Grigio and the Gewürztraminer, those two grape varietals are very popular during the spring and summertime because of their lightness and easy sipping. That's good. And you can get like a little nuttiness, that hint of almond on like the back end, but mainly on the first sip. And while you like balance it on your palate, you do get that citrusy, that pear, all of that. And I forgot to mention that the alcohol percentages on our wines, especially from our white wines, range between 11 to 14%. So our Sauvignon Blanc, our Sauvy is 14%. Our Silky Essence, our Chardonnay is 13%. Our Pinot, which is our Pinot Grigio, as you can see right here, is 11%. So as you can see, they are boozy, but not like our red wines. Will get you where you want to go, which will be a segment here really soon. So now we have our Gertie, which is our Gewürztraminer. Gewürztraminer. That's why we're calling her Gertie. And she's from Germany, as you could probably guess from the great varietal name that I will not pronounce again. But with Gertie, you will find notes of grapefruit, rose petal aroma, as well as the lychee nut characteristics, with a hint, small hint, not a lot, just a small hint, of sweetness. Like I said, everyone's palate, which is your tongue, is different. You may not taste any sweetness, while others probably taste a little to a lot of sweetness, because we've got that a lot, where all of the wines that you've tried with me so far have been dry, whether it's a full body, light body, medium body, or in between. It is a dryness of white wines. With this Gertie, it is an off-dry, medium-bodied wine, for the reason why you'll get maybe a little bit more sweetness in this than the others. Also call it the Gewürztraminer, the grown-up Moscato, because of its aroma and intense variety range of flavors. So let's get started and try Gertie. This one has a nice golden color as well. Kind of light. It is almost like the same color like the Pinot. Maybe like a hint more goldeny, but I'm also not gonna lie, the wine is kind of starting to get to me, just not a lot. But that's also why I say it's the best part of drinking on the job. But I'm not really working, even though you might see me with the shirt on. I'm just, giving you guys a little fun little taste test of our white wines. But also with our Gertie, well, with the grape varietal in itself, the Gewürztraminer. But with that particular grape varietal, it comes with distinct aroma of lychee and rose, with either ginger or orange blossom notes as well. But with ours, it has the grapefruit, the rose aroma, and the lychee with nut characteristics. And like I said, with the hint, the sweetness, a hint. Like I said, everyone is different, but it has a hint of sweetness to it as well. So, remember the 4 S's as the sight. Admire the color of the wine. As in this wine, you really can't tell the legs like you will with our red wines, but you probably can tell a little bit. But like I said, you'll get a better look with the red wines. So sight, swirl, and like I said, if you can't do it in the air, you can do it on the table as well. Doesn't matter which direction of the circle you go, as long as you get that swirl. And with the swirl, either mid-swirl or afterwards, or before you start swirling to get the difference of the scent you're smelling. And then the best part, sip, which I'm getting to it, because... Definitely a off-dry, which off-dry could be leaning towards dry or sweet. Same with semi, could lean towards dry or sweet. Like I said, it just depends on you and your palate. Everyone is different. But this is an off-dry, medium-bodied wine with that grapefruit and rose aroma. very florally with that grapefruit scent as well. It's good. And also, if for wine tastings, whether you're doing it at home or if you come here at Water's Edge and have one, you have the option to not fully consume the wine that you are tasting. So as you can probably notice, with the alcohol percentages, as with this Gertie is 11% as well with the Pinot. Depending on how many wines you're tasting or having for a particular amount of time, you might get a little boozy, depending on what you're trying. And so if you don't want to drink each wine you're tasting, you can have the option to sip it, do the little weight on your tongue, and then spit it out in a bucket. So there's no bucket, taking it all straight to the head. And yeah. And we're moving on to our last but not least of the wines that we'll be trying today. I know you guys are probably excited to get mainly the dry wines out the way, and we're moving towards more of the sweet option in this wine category of the whites. So let's get last but not least, guys, we made it to the end. Woo! All right. But last but not least is our Golden Nectar, which is a Muscat Blanc from California. And you're probably like, what is this Muscat Blanc, this favorite you talking about that everyone loves and tries? Well, that is the grape varietal, which is well known as the Moscato. We're just calling it Golden Nectar, as you'll see when I pour a glass of its color and everything, and the nectar, of course, of its sweetness and deliciousness. So let's get started with our Golden Nectar. You see that goldenness? So we have our Golden Nectar, which is the Muscat Blanc, aka the Moscato from California. And like I said before, the grape varietals, they are grown everywhere around the world. And where they're grown, they're going to taste differently. Same grape, different characteristics. Mainly what I mean, if they're grown in more warmer climates like a Chile or Australia, Argentina, and so forth, the grape must, which is the juice, will come out drier than in other areas that they'll be grown. It'll be different if the grapes are grown in cooler atmospheres, like our ice wine that's grown in Canada or colder environments below 32 degrees. It has to be freezing cold for ice wine. And ice wine is extremely sweet wine. It's still good, but very sweet, like egregiously sweet. Most of Kentucky or anywhere, everyone is a sweet wine drinker, especially starting off with, if not, lo and behold, sticks true it till the day they are gone home to glory. But with our Golden Nectar, which is our Moscato, it has a nice, lush, and fruity taste to it. Juicy peach and tropical fruit notes as well. So last but not least, let's get into our Golden Nectar, aka Moscato, aka the Muscat Blanc from California. And it does have its golden color. Definitely not like the first two, which is still okay, because the others are grown in Chile and Australia. So it's like, okay, California. It's still warm weather, but definitely not the same. And we understand that. That is okay. Everyone is different, but we still love you, the all, if not the same, because it's going down the same place. So once we've done the 4 S's of the sight, swirl, definitely take some sweetness to it. And now, of course, the best part, sipping. And with the Muscat Blanc, it is an off-dry, light-bodied wine. So you won't get much of the heaviness on it, but you'll definitely taste the sweetness of the tropical flavoring. The juiciness of the peach is... And you still get the alcohol percentage, which everyone loves. And the Muscat Blanc comes in many different flavors, as in like lemon, orange blossom, lychee, and so forth. So there's multiple Moscato flavors, Muscat Blanc. So let me know if you guys want to see like a particular flavors other than the regular and the pink Moscato. Let's play around with that. Well, like, why not? Some good stuff. Well, that's our episode for the week. I would like to thank all of you guys for joining us for this week's episode of the Winemaker series, our White Wines edition. And as you see, we have 5 wonderful wines from our Sauvignon Blanc from Chile, Silky Essence, a Chardonnay from Australia, Pinot Grigio from Italy, Gertie from Germany, and our Golden Nectar Muscat Blanc from California. If you guys have some time, stop by during our operational hours, Tuesday through Thursday, 4 p.m. through 9 p.m., Friday from 11 a.m. till 10 p.m., Saturday from 9 a.m. till 10 p.m., and on Sundays from 9 a.m. till 3 p.m., and get a wonderful glass of our wonderful white wines that is grown from all over the world, but locally made here in your hometown, Elizabethtown, Kentucky. I also wanted to leave you guys with a fun fact. White wine is the perfect introduction to anyone getting into wines in general. And the reason for it is because it's pretty much closely related to beer, if not the same process in the beginning steps, except beer has the extra stuff to it with the hops, the extra stuff to it. So if you or anyone who wants to get to wine drinking or get more from the sweet and more into the drier side of it, start off with the white wines. Oh, and final question. Well, sorry, not final. It's the wine. Question for next episode that you guys can leave in the comments is, what is the difference between a white and red wine making in the process? What's the difference? Do you guys know? Is there a difference? I don't know. But yeah, that is the question that will be answered during next week's episode. What is the difference between wine and red grapes during the wine making process? Cheers. I like to say they're like sister cousins in a way, wine and beer. But I also like to say beer is the perfect example of leave well enough alone. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But